Talking about the embryo, early Muslims debated so much. When does the embryo begin? Because in Islam, as it is in Judaism, as it is since the two children of Adam, human life is not like animal life. Uniquely, human life is sacred life. And when you read in the Quran about the sanctity of human life, you find the Quran says, commenting on the event of Cain and Abel, the Quran says, on this account, we decreed upon the children of Israel that whoever kills a self for no other reason than manslaughter or corruption in the land, it would be as though he killed all mankind. And whoever saves a life, it would be as though he saved all mankind. This is the trend regarding human life in all the religions, in all God's religions. And this, therefore, is the value of the embryo. And earlier Muslims asked the question, when does that human life begin? And again the answer went through a chain of changes. To start with, people thought that when the mother feels the kicking of the fetus, life has started. But later on, it was discovered that this is due to the formation of limbs and the growth of the embryo so that its kicks could reach the uterine wall. And so comes another opinion that life must begin at 6 weeks. Because when they examined aborted fetuses, spontaneously aborted, they found the semblance of a human being, a head end and a tail end, maybe limb buds, etc. So they said that, therefore, assault on it would be banned if the pregnancy is 6 weeks. Later on came a more intelligent one, called Al-Ghazali, in the year 1011, who said, oh no, human life goes through 2 stages, an imperceptible one and a perceptible one. The imperceptible one begins at the beginning, when the semen and the female element would meet together, fuse together, and are lodged in the place, he said. That was 1,000 years ago. And what he predicted proved to be the reality later on. And so, the beginning is the beginning. And in a conference at the Islamic organization for medical sciences, some 20 years ago, we brought together scholars in Islamics and medical scholars and scientists, and tried to reach a conclusion. When does life begin? And we put certain postulates. The stage of life to be called the beginning of life must have the following criteria. It should be a clear-cut event. It should entertain that cardinal feature of life, which is growth by cell division. Number 3, if this growth is not interrupted, it leads to the subsequent stages of life as we know them. Number 4, it has the genetic bag characteristic of the human race, but also of a special, unique individual that never came before and will never be repeated. Number 6, number 5, it is not preceded by any stage that combines all the previous 4 criteria. And just about the time when we were endorsing that definition, arose the question, would it apply to the fertilized ovum? And after long debate, the answer was no, because if there is a fertilized ovum and you leave it for any length of time, it will not give a human being. And therefore, the real beginning of the human being is when the fertilized ovum is implanted in its abode in the human uterus, is the formation of a feto-maternal unit. And this was the view to be taken. And this coincided with what the Sharia or Islamic law says about the embryo. It has certain rights. If a woman commits a crime punishable by death, and she is pregnant at any time of pregnancy, however early it is, then the punishment will be postponed until she delivers and nurses the baby. If a man dies, then his legacy would be distributed among his legal inheritors, and if his wife is pregnant, then the share of the unborn would be kept aside, and if the baby is born alive, it will take its share of the inheritance.